This episode may contain content of a graphic nature, including descriptions of physical and sexual violence against adults, children, and animals. Listener discretion is advised. Hi everyone, I'm Talia.
And I'm Tanya.
And together we are Crimes and Consequences, a true crime podcast.
Emergency.
Hi, Anita.
Hello?
Anita.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
No. Hurry, please, hurry up.
Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
You just hurry up, please. I'm going to die.
Can you tell me what your name is?
Keyona.
Welcome back, everybody. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Talia.
I hope everybody had a wonderful week. I did. Did you?
Sure.
This episode is about 2 murders and 4 deaths. For every crime, there are consequences, events that follow, all tied together by one tragedy. In this episode, the consequences that follow the crime are just as deadly as the murders themselves.
Ooh.
I know.
You set that up.
I did. Before I share this really sad story, this one's a pisser.
Oh, great.
I want to ask everybody to hit the subscribe/follow button on whatever app you're listening to us on right now. And with that, I'm going to start. Now, I want everybody to know in advance that I have actual 911 calls of the victim. Definitely much more real for me when I'm doing it. And it just compounds to the tragedy.
Yeah. It's very heart-wrenching.
That being said, you ready?
Yep.
At 10:25 a.m., it's a Wednesday, on March 13th in 2019, so this is a very recent story, 911 dispatchers received a desperate phone call from 25-year-old Keyona Griffin. Keyona, she was called Key by her friends and family. She was described as a bubbly young woman who worked hard while attending Grand Rapids Community College. And this crime takes place in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the west side of the state. Keyona lived with her grandmother and her aunt in this yellow 2-story home at 553 Sheldon Avenue, Southeast in downtown Grand Rapids. Keyona had recently confided to her mom that she was considering moving out of her grandma's house. She didn't like the 4th person that lived in the house. That was her aunt, Charlotta, who went by Cher. It was her boyfriend. Keyona didn't like him. Just brief background on Aunt Cher. She was 47, and her boyfriend, his name was Jay. That was really her first boyfriend at the age of 47. Well, she actually met him when she was 45. And Keyona didn't care for Jay. She thought he was weird. And she didn't like having to see him every day at the house since he moved in. Jay and Cher rarely left Cher's bedroom, but when they did, he just brought this odd weirdness to the house. And as I tell you this story, you'll realize how odd and weird he is. He often talked about conspiracies.
Oh, boy.
He's a conspiracy theorist. He didn't use social media. He didn't have a cell phone. And he didn't have any friends as far as Keyona knew. Nobody ever saw him with any friend. And he lived there for like a year and a half, which is odd. He'd been dating Cher for 2 years, and he seemed to make her really happy. That's the only reason the family really tolerated him. Keyona's family valued hard work. As I told you, she was a very hard worker. And Jay hadn't had a job since they met him, since they'd known him. He basically just mooched off of Aunt Cher. That Wednesday morning, Keyona's Grandma Jackie, her name was Jacqueline Babeber, she left for work at about 8 a.m. Keyona's Grandma Jackie, she was a really inspiring woman. She raised her children while working for a Head Start program, and in 2003, at the age of 49, she went to college. She earned an associate's degree in marketing, and by 2019, 65-year-old Grandma Jackie was a supervisor of central services for a law firm in Grand Rapids. She devoted all of her free time to her children and her church. Everyone loved Grandma Jackie. Neighbors, associates, everyone. She was described as a kind, nice old lady. When Jackie left for work that morning, she had no idea that two people she loved so dearly would be slaughtered in her home only hours later. It's 10:25 a.m. and Keyona calls Kent County Sheriff's Department's 911 call center. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the phone call because a little bit of it might not be all that clear. So I'm going to describe it and then I'm going to play it. The call begins with her whispering to dispatch, "I need help." But her voice is so quiet that he doesn't understand her. So she says it again, "I need help." The dispatcher asks her location and Keyona tells him 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. But the dispatcher says, "I'm sorry, I can't hear you."
Oh, shit.
Keyona mumbles, "I know." Then she repeats her address and she says, and this is a quote, "Can you just hurry up, please? I'm fitting to die. He's trying to kill me. He already killed my auntie. Can you hurry up, please?" Then the call ends. Now, it's believed that Keyona was most likely hiding in the bathroom during that call. And I'm going to play it for you now.
Wednesday, March 13, 2019, 10:29 and 25 seconds.
Nine one one emergency.
Hi, I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
No.
Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
Okay, I got Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
Can you just hurry up, please? I'm gonna die. You're trying to kill me. You already killed my auntie. Just hurry up, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is?
Keyona.
Who's the person who's causing trouble there?
Please hurry up. He's about to kill me. Please hurry up.
Okay, I've got a call entered, so we're going to get the police started that way, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell me what room of the house you're in?
So that was the actual 911 recording of Keyona's call. And it's, again, it's hard to understand her, but she's whispering so she doesn't get murdered.
Ugh.
Dispatch then placed a call over the radio to the Grand Rapids Police Department, and 3 officers were dispatched to the scene. The call the officers received said, quote, "There are suspicious conditions. We have a female on the line whispering that someone is trying to assault her."
Oh, shit.
Not kill her,
Oh, shit.
assault her. Exactly 7 minutes and 41 seconds after Keyona's call, the officers arrived at 553 Sheldon Avenue. As they arrived, additional information about the call would show up on their patrol car's computer screen, so it gets typed up too. I have the audio from the body cam footage, and in that audio, which I'll play for you in just a second, the officers can be heard saying, quote, "trying to kill her." And then the same officer says, quote, "sounds like she could be 96 too, you know," end quote. Now, 96 means 1096, which means the caller could potentially have mental health problems. The officers knocked on the front door 3 times, but got no response. Then they tried the doorknob. They're jiggling the doorknob, but it was locked. One of the officers radioed back to dispatch and asked them if they could try Keyona's cell phone. Call her back. Let her know we're here. Make sure maybe she'll answer and everything will be okay. But when the dispatcher called Keyona's cell phone, there was no answer. So the police knocked one last time on the front door, and then they went around to the back, and they tried to see if the back door was open, but it was locked. They peeked through the windows, and one officer can be heard saying, quote, "You can see it looks like a little dining room or something's in there. It's empty," end quote. As far as they knew, there weren't any exigent circumstances that would allow them to legally enter the house without permission. So the three officers, they felt like they didn't have any other choice but to leave the scene only 3 minutes and 42 seconds after they arrived. I'm going to play the body cam audio, but I want everybody to know that it's 3 minutes and 42 seconds long, so I edited out some of the dead air in it, so it's shortened. It didn't happen as quick as what it sounds in here, but I'm going to play it. Ready?
This call looked interesting. I'm trying to kill her. Sounds like she could be 96 too, you know? You can see it looks like a little dining room or something in there. It's empty.
I asked my sister Shayna, who used to live in Grand Rapids, what the area around 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast was like. And she said it was a lower income area that had a lot of crime, specifically prostitution in that area. But none of these victims were part of any criminal enterprise or anything like that. I just think the truth is they just didn't have a lot of money, and that's where they lived. Did that play a part? Maybe, subconsciously, with the police leaving? I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to blame the police for choices they have to make on the fly, but they did get the message that there was a woman fearing that she was going to be murdered. And it was treated more like a welfare check than a real attempt.
Danger.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediate danger.
Exactly. I was going to say I'm not a trained professional, but we actually are trained professional lawyers. And I would have thought they would have had cause to enter the house, but they didn't feel they did. I do know for a fact that the officers did not know that in Keyona's 911 call, they didn't know she said her aunt had been killed. She said, "My auntie is dead," but that message wasn't made to them. Based on Keyona's phone call, her Aunt Cher was dead. And I told you a little bit about Aunt Cher. Aunt Cher didn't socialize very much. Her family described her as someone other people may think was odd herself. Aunt Cher and her mom, Grandma Jackie, they would often spend time at the Grand Rapids Library together. It sounded like she didn't get out much. And one time, Aunt Cher went there alone, and somehow she struck up a conversation with Jay, which is how they became boyfriend and girlfriend. They met at the library.
Oh, how cute.
No, trust me, it is
no.
not cute. It was only 2 hours and 18 minutes after Keyona called 911 from her 553 Sheldon Avenue home that 911 dispatchers received another emergency call from the same address. This time, the call was made from Keyona's older brother, Sanford. Sanford was driving by on his way to work when he saw Grandma Jackie's friend. She was standing outside, and I think she was moving something, so he stopped to help her. And they got talking, and it was actually Grandma Jackie's friend that first went inside the house. And I'm going to play for you the call Keyona's brother made to Kent County Sheriff's Department's 911 call center. You should be warned, it's heart-wrenching. A couple of things that might come across confusing during the call is that they continuously refer to Sanford as a woman. So he has to clarify that he is her brother. And there's another woman you can hear in the background, and that was Grandma Jackie's friend. And they're under the assumption that Keyona has been stabbed. Here's the 911 call from Sanford made at 12:43 p.m. on March 13th, 2009.
Keyona!
911 emergency.
From the 553 Sheldon, my sister not moving.
What's the address?
553 Sheldon. There's blood everywhere. My sister is not moving.
Okay, stand on line. You said shirt. 553 Sheldon.
Sheldon, Southeast. It's a yellow house. Please, hurry up.
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast, so correct?
Yes, please.
He says she's not breathing.
I don't know. She's not moving. I'm holding her head, please.
Okay, all righty. Stand on line with me. I do have fire and police on the way. Stand on line with me. We're going to connect over to medical, okay?
Please, please.
And you said that there's blood everywhere?
There's blood everywhere.
Did she cut herself or try to commit suicide?
I don't know. She's doing her job. She's patient.
Grand Rapids here. I pre-alerted already for 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast.
553 Sheldon Southeast?
Yes. Pre-alert already for a female there not breathing. Caller says she sees a lot of blood.
All right. Caller?
Oh, please.
Ma'am?
Oh, my Lord.
Ma'am, I have help on the way. I have a few questions. Tell me exactly what happened.
Come on, is she back here? Oh, my God.
Ma'am, I need to know what's going on there. Tell me what's going on.
Not a man with her brother. I don't know. She's naked. I usually stop over here before I go to work to my granny house, and her friend was over here outside and came in, and I didn't even come upstairs. Her friend did, and she here naked. Blood everywhere, please.
Okay.
Keyona!
All right. How old is she?
She's 20. She born in 94.
Okay.
94. She's about 20.
All right. I need to.
She's not moving, Keyona!
Ma'am, they're on the way. I need to ask you, is she breathing? Ma'am, is she breathing?
I'm not a ma'am. No, I'm her brother.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Please come on.
They're on their way there. No breathing. Med 1.
Like her arm broke.
Med 1 established, 911 on.
Okay.
Well, you can stay on.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, my God.
Stay on.
Okay. Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. It just looks like somebody stabbed her. Right here. Yeah, somebody stabbed her or something.
She's been stabbed?
Yes, it's blood everywhere. My little sister is naked. Please come on.
Okay. Sir, they're on the way, okay?
All right.
Is she breathing?
No, I don't know. I don't know how to tell. She's not moving. I'm yelling at her name. She's not moving.
Okay.
Please.
All right, they're on the way there. I need you to tell me now every time she takes a breath in. I need to know if she's breathing.
Oh, no, she's not moving. It's like
she's not breathing.
Everywhere, like she's been bleeding for a long time.
Okay. All right, we're going to stage on this one as well.
Okay.
Please, come on.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that so sad?
Oh, my God. My heart is broken for him.
Poor Sanford.
Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine ever finding a loved one with blood everywhere, and I really can't.
And we listen to these 911 phone calls, and they're so frustrating. But it's easy for us in retrospect to listen and be like, obviously she's not breathing. I mean, they asked him like 3 times. And
Right.
My heart always races when I hear the 911 phone call because I just want them to be there
Like,
already.
hurry up. Go, go, go.
This won't be Sanford's last bit of sadness that happens during this episode. His life gets even more sad.
Oh.
But I'll circle back to that. Once again, for the second time that day, police were dispatched to 553 Sheldon Avenue along with emergency first responders. And this time they were well aware of the urgency. Inside the house, in an upstairs bedroom, they found the naked body of Keyona laying on the floor. Now, this story is, as I told you, very new. It hasn't gone to trial. So a lot of the details haven't been given to the public. But the parts I'm going to tell you about have been released by the police. Something was wrong with her arm. I don't know if it was broken. I don't know if it was shot. It's never been really clear. But what I do know is that Keyona suffered 4 gunshot wounds, including one directly to the face.
Oh, no.
There was bloody duct tape found at the scene. And I only know about the bloody duct tape because I saw crime scene photos. Now, the duct tape is wrapped repeatedly in a circle, and it's still attached to the duct tape roll. Because the information hasn't been released, I'm going to do something I don't like to do. I'm going to assume. Based on the photo, which you guys can see on our website, crimesandconsequences.com, it appears to me that the duct tape was most likely used to restrain her wrists because of the diameter of the circle, but I can't be sure. And I just showed you a picture.
Yeah, it's...
You concur?
Mm-hmm. The circle of duct tape is about as big as the circle of the roll of duct tape.
But a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm. So it's not very big.
And there's blood on it. And again, she's naked. Down the hall, in a back bedroom, lay the deceased remains of Aunt Cher. Now, Aunt Cher was found laying dead on her bed. Her head was laying on the pillow. It was propping up her neck. There was a blanket over her. Her earbuds were still in her ears, and the iPad that was laying next to her was still playing. She'd been shot with a bullet to the back of her head, and then she had a second gunshot wound, and I don't know where. But based on the scene, it appears she didn't know it was coming.
Right.
In Cher's closet, investigators discovered letters in an orange Nike shoebox. These letters were sent from Grand Rapids Jail to Cher, and they were signed by a man named Jay Johnson. Jay. Nobody really knew his last name. Well, now they know Jay Johnson. The letters were written in this really tiny, very neat handwriting. It was something very unique to Jay. Cher's family knew that Jay had been jailed for failure to pay child support, which was another reason they didn't care for Jay. But they had no idea about his violent history. He'd never shown any aggression to Cher, or they wouldn't have tolerated it. I mean, that just wasn't acceptable. What they also didn't know was that that wasn't actually even Jay's name. And when I tell you his name, you're going to be like, oh my fucking God. I can't wait to tell you his name. Before the story ends, there's going to be 2 more casualties, 2 more deaths that all stemmed from the violence on March 13th. But before I tell you about that, we're going to take a break. Outside the Sheldon Avenue home, in an alleyway, the police captain found a fresh, quote-unquote, box of ammunition. It was laying next to a white plastic bag. Inside this small grocery bag was a 9mm high-point pistol. It's not a very big gun. The handgun serial number matched the serial number on a high-point gun box found in Jay's underwear drawer in Cher's bedroom. Also inside the gun box was a purchase permit, which included the name of the person that bought the gun. It was the name of a woman that I'm going to call Stacia. Stacia had reported the gun stolen in July of 2017. At the same time, she filed a complaint against her boyfriend. She knew him as Jay for harassment. Stacia broke up with Jay because he was so controlling. And when she broke up with him, of course, his harassment and his behavior escalated. But eventually, he lost interest in her. Police were able to piece together who Jay really was based on Stacia's information and the jail letters and all of that. Jay Johnson was revealed to be 44-year-old Daryl Demon Brown.
Demon?
D-E-M-O-N. Demon. Someone thought that'd make a great middle name. And you know what? It's very fitting for him because
really.
I haven't even finished with Daryl Demon Brown. So from now on, Jay is going to be Daryl Demon.
Daryl Demon.
Daryl Demon. Daryl Demon was described as a well-mannered, polite, unassuming man with a touch of paranoid personality disorder. I mentioned he really liked conspiracies. He didn't use email, didn't have social media, didn't even have a phone. Who the fuck doesn't have a phone?
And how do you get more news on your conspiracies without the internet?
Valid point. He's using somebody else's. I think he doesn't have any of that in his name because he's paranoid.
Yeah, I can't let the government know.
Right. Because they're so interested in Daryl Demon. Well, actually, now they are.
Now they are, yeah.
Spoiler alert. Daryl Demon was from Grand Rapids. And prior to meeting Cheryl, he was homeless. A reverend named Robert Dean from the New Life Church of God. He took pity on Daryl Demon years earlier after finding him in a disheveled state digging through the church's dumpster. I'm just going to give you a little background on how violent Daryl Demon is. The Reverend offered him a room at the church in exchange for Daryl Demon helping the church out with things like shoveling snow, odds and end things, maintenance for the church. Roughly 3 months later, Reverend Dean received a phone call from a woman asking if she could talk to him about her boyfriend. She called him Jay, but it's Daryl Demon. She knew that Daryl Demon was staying at the church, and she really needed help from the Reverend. Shortly thereafter, she came to the church. She went into Reverend Dean's office, and she sat down and she explained to him that she'd been dating Daryl Demon for a few months, and she was really fond of him. He was very caring. He was very nice. But he slowly started trying to get control over her. In fact, it had gotten to the point where he insisted she not speak to another man at all.
No matter what.
No matter what. And she said, this is a real problem because at my job, and I think she was a grocery store clerk, she had to talk to men. And Jay's demands were interfering with her ability to work.
Wow, that's weird.
He didn't want her talking to no man. Daryl Demon's girlfriend was hoping that the Reverend Dean could maybe talk some sense into her boyfriend. During their conversation, Daryl Demon barged into the room and he sat down. He's kind of saying like, hey, what's going on? He's seen his girlfriend in there and he's curious. What is this about?
And she's talking to a man.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even think about it. He's sitting in the chair and all of a sudden he stands up and he lunges at his girlfriend with his hand raised and he yells, I'll slap you. But before he got the chance, Reverend Dean managed to restrain Daryl Demon. He ordered Daryl Demon to pack his shit up and leave the church. And on his way out, Reverend Dean suggested that he seek professional help and stop, quote, running around terrorizing women, end quote. He then advised Daryl Demon's girlfriend to dump Daryl Demon.
Good advice.
So it's not clear what year that was. All I know is that it is before he was dating Cher. In 2005, Jay was arrested for felony assault of his girlfriend. He viciously beat his living girlfriend. He didn't just beat her, Tanya. He terrorized her for an entire night. He bound her wrists and her ankles with cords. He kicked her in the face. He pissed on her.
Aww.
And he doused her with lighter fluid while holding a lighter over her, threatening to burn her alive.
That's terrifying.
He also had a gun, and he continued throughout the night to threaten to kill her and then kill himself. All the while, her 4 children were at the house. They were upstairs sleeping for the most part.
Oh, my God.
You know how she managed to escape him? You won't believe this. The next morning, he let her send her oldest daughter off to school. And as her daughter climbed on the bus, this woman ran onto the bus and pleaded with the bus driver to shut the door and just take off. And the bus driver did.
She did?
She jumped on the school bus.
Oh, my God.
To escape.
Dude, what about our other kids?
Well, in order to take care of them, she has to stay alive.
That's true. Oh, my God.
Right, I'm sure those kids were like, what the fuck is this? Holy cow, you won't believe what happened at school today. It's horrible. Once she was safe, she immediately went to the police, and Daryl Demon was arrested. However, as this often happens, she failed to cooperate with the police. And no one has the right to judge a victim of domestic violence if you haven't been through it. Because unless you've been through it, it's almost impossible to appreciate the state of mind and the amount of control an abusive man can have over a woman. And of course, Daryl Demon pleaded with her for forgiveness, said he wanted help, he wanted to change, and she felt that he wouldn't get the help that he needed and wanted if he went to prison. So she told the prosecutor she wasn't going to cooperate. The prosecutor ended up offering Daryl Demon a plea deal of misdemeanor domestic violence. Do you know what the maximum amount of time in Michigan you can do for that? Maximum. 93 days.
Damn.
$500 fine. So back to the murder, the crime scene of Keyona and Cher. Of course, when the police arrived on the scene, there was no Daryl Demon there. Surveillance footage captured Daryl Demon's image roughly a mile away from the Sheldon home, about 2 hours after the bodies were found. So he wasn't far at all. I mean, this is after the bodies were found. He was then spotted at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum downtown.
Get out of here.
He entered the building at 3:24 p.m. and exited 12 minutes later. He had approached the front desk and told them that he knew someone that worked there and he just wanted to speak to that person. About 20 minutes after surveillance shows him leaving the Children's Museum, a business surveillance camera captured Daryl Demon walking down the street about a mile away. Ends up that a former girlfriend of his gave him a ride to that neighborhood and dropped him off. And I'm guessing that she was the one that worked at the museum. That's my guess, but I don't know for sure. So do you know where the next place Daryl Demon was spotted?
Was it another museum? I know there's a lot down there.
No. No one knows.
No?
He has not been seen since
Shut
that
up.
video was taken.
He's on the lam?
He's on the lam.
Get out of here.
He disappeared. He fell off the grid.
Wow.
And he is on the U.S. Marshal's most wanted list.
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
I was reading an article that explained that he was already off the grid. So it was pretty easy for him to just disappear. In a statement made by Grandma Jackie to Wood TV, she said, quote, "There were no red flags at all. That's the reason why this is so maddening. Because what went wrong in that short span of time? This man blindsided all of us. He betrayed us," end quote. But as I've alluded to, this is not the end of the tragedies in this story. On June 10th in 2020, so I think it's like 14 months after the murder, 15 months, it was a Friday night, and Keyona and Cher's family, they got together at Grandma Jackie's Sheldon Avenue home because Grandma Jackie owned the home and she still lived there.
Oh, shit.
Can you imagine still living there?
Fuck.
It was her daughter and her granddaughter that were murdered there. That night, the family had a vigil for the slain women. Sanford was there, and he brought with him his 5-year-old son, Grandma Jackie's great-grandson. His name was Emery Cummings, and he went by EJ. Together, the family sat on the front porch. They prayed, they told stories about Keyona and Cher, and they lit some candles in their honor. As the evening grew late, Grandma Jackie decided to let EJ, who loved to play Roblox on his iPad, typical little kid, she let him spend the night with her, and Sanford went home. EJ was described as a pleasant handful, full of energy. He would spontaneously run and do flips, and he was always giving out hugs and kisses to the family members. Everybody loved EJ. And on that Friday night, he was with Grandma Jackie, who everybody loved, Grandma Jackie. After everyone left, Grandma Jackie and EJ fell asleep together upstairs. At 9:02 a.m. the next morning, 911 received a phone call reporting a house fire at 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Firefighters responded right away, but by the time they got there, the entire front of the house was engulfed in flames. It was an old wooden house, so it burned rather quickly. Immediately upon their arrival, they noticed that there were cars in the driveway, but no one was standing outside the house. And I didn't know this, but this is a huge red flag for first responders.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
Because it indicates that whoever lived in the house or lives in the house isn't outside it. The house was described as having, quote, a heavy volume of fire, end quote, with black smoke billowing from it. It was not an easy blaze to battle. In fact, 3 firefighters were injured while trying to put it out. 2 are hospitalized.
Oh, my God.
But these heroic firefighters made their way through the back of the house and up the stairs. On the second floor in the bedroom in the back, they found the huddled bodies of Grandma Jackie and little 5-year-old EJ.
Talia, no!
Jackie was dead, but they were able to get a pulse on EJ, and he was rushed to the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, where he later succumbed to smoke inhalation. Investigators were able to determine the origin of the fire. candles from the previous evening's vigil were left burning on the front porch throughout the night.
No.
That caught the porch on fire, and it didn't take long for the house to burn.
Oh, no. This is terrible.
I know. Grandma Jackie and EJ, they were trapped upstairs. They could tell when they investigated it that the two had tried to escape, and they couldn't. So they ended up going from the front bedroom to the back bedroom where there wasn't as much flame and heat. But the smoke inhalation got to them.
Well, I am brokenhearted for this poor family.
I
Oh my
know.
God, poor Sanford.
Sanford's son
Oh,
was dead.
this is terrible.
I know, it's so sad.
I'm
And
so
he's just
sorry.
the cutest little boy. Oh my God, he's so cute. Anya Griffin, that's Keyona's mom, and also Cher's sister, has expressed her anger in the handling by responders for Keyona's 911 call. I can't say I blame her because based on what I know, Keyona made that call. I don't know at what point during the time she was terrorized she made the call. But I mean, she was found naked. She was bound at some point, whether it was before the call or she died then, I don't know. But it is possible that she could have been alive when the police were there. I mean, obviously, Daryl Demon had to have still been in the house when the police were there. It was only a few minutes after the call. Police and dispatchers have responded to Keyona and Cher's family's statements, and they basically said, I'm paraphrasing, that they beat themselves up over and over again over what happened. No one can beat them up anymore. In order for any justice to take place, Daryl Demon Brown, he has to be caught. He is, as I said, on the U.S. Marshal's most wanted list. There's a $25,000 reward for him. Authorities firmly believe that his family is protecting him. In fact, I saw this video of a news channel, I think it was Wood TV, trying to speak to some family members of Daryl Demon's, and the family member shouted through the door to get the fuck off their property. So they were not interested in talking about Daryl Demon. Authorities believe that he is most likely in Wisconsin or Arizona, Georgia, or Ohio, and he has used aliases such as Daryl Robinson, Carter Brown, Derek Brown, Michael Richardson, Marcus Wright, and Jay Johnson. He's 5'8", African-American. He looks unassuming. I got a picture of him on the website. It's really not much to describe. If you saw him on the street, he does not look like a monster.
Doesn't look like a demon.
But he is. You can go to our website. You can see a picture of him. And if he looks familiar, call the fucking police.
Please. This family needs justice.
You can call 877-WANTED-2. That's the number to call.
Is it number 2?
Number 2. And I want to give credit to where credit is due. I got my information from woodtv.com. Find a grave. U.S. Marshals. There's a Facebook page. YouTube video. If you want to see the body cam video footage, you can find it also on our website, a link. And I'm live. So I'm not ripping anybody off. Another cool thing about Grandma Jackie is she would go to a pop-up market and she would sell some unusual home decor that she made with authentic African fibers. She had this little pop-up shop called J. Bay's Touch of Africa Inspired Crafts. And she would go in the historical district on Saturdays and set up her little table and sell her little crafts.
Oh, that is so sad.
Is that fucking
Talia.
sad?
Oh my God, the story is terrible.
Hopefully someday we'll get some more answers as to what actually transpired in that house.
And Daryl Demon will be caught.
Yeah, I wonder if Keyona may have been sexually assaulted based on the fact that she was naked. But
yeah, why would she be naked?
There's nothing out there yet about that.
Poor Sanford.
I know.
Their
whole
whole family. I just feel so sad. And they were having a vigil and the house burned down?
Yeah.
Like, seriously? Like, could there be anything more tragic?
That house has been bulldozed down. 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast no longer exists.
Well, this was a pisser.
I
You
told
were
you
right.
it was a pisser.
Oh my God. Well, thanks for that, Talia.
I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to us this week. If you want to see pictures of this case, I have lots of them, thanks to, I think it's MLive. I have lots of crime scene photos. None are graphic. You can go to our website, crimesandconsequences.com, or you can go to our social media. Our handle is @HardcoreTrueCrime, and you can see more information on this case. You can also get ad-free early releases and 170 or more, I don't even know. I can't even keep track of all the true crime cases we've done that are exclusive for our members only, our subscribers only, for our Apple channel or our Patreon members. You can go to patreon.com/TNT Crimes and check us out there, or you can find out more information on our website. What else we got?
And there is merch on our websites. Check that out too.
In the interim, don't kill each other.
Until our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.